Thank you for joining our session on best practices for data management with Optimove. This is the first session out of 8 of Maximizing Optimove series of sessions. This will be 8 sessions of 30 minutes long. During these sessions, we will dive deeper into specific aspects of Optimove to help you gain the best out of the platform. And in this one, we're going to walk you through the data delivery options that Optimove has, and we'll talk about what are those options and also the reasoning behind it. I'm Chen, Director of Data Solutions at Optimove. I've been with the company for the last 7 years. I'm leading the Data Solutions department and anything about data in for new customers and existing ones.
And I'm Shachar, a product manager in Optimove. I've been working with the company for about 6 years, and I'm working specifically on the customer data platform area of our product, how to get data into Optimove and make it insightful.
All right, so some key takeaways from today's session. Today, you'll gain a solid understanding of various data ingestion methods into Optimove, and we'll also explore how to leverage and optimize those different data integration methods to best fit your specific use cases. Additionally, we'll unlock greater flexibility in managing your data and updates with the help of our self-serve capabilities, and this is something that Shachar will talk about in the second part of this presentation. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of how to effectively leverage those different data aspects with Optimove and how they all work together harmoniously. Now, this slide represents the complete customer and data journey from data to execution. It forms the backbone of Optimove's intelligent and ability to craft intelligent customer journeys. The process begins on the left, where data gets into Optimove from different various data sources, and then it enters into Optimove's engine, where we build smart orchestration using data aggregations, predictive analytics, product recommendations, and much more. The end goal is to cross-sell execute. This can be done by our Optimove native channels, such as Optimail, Optimobile, Optitext, OptiX, and many others, along with third-party integrations, such as ads, socials like Meta and Snapchat, or other third-party integrations, such as Zendesk, Salesforce, and again, many other channels of execution. However, today we're going to focus entirely or primarily on the data side of things. In this journey, we'll explore the different types of data Optimove work with and how each one play a unique role in providing not just insights, but also powering our smart orchestration. At high level, there are 2 main ways to get data into Optimove. We have batch data and real-time. Batch data is collected from different various sources. We have cloud storages such as Azure Blob, Google Cloud Storage, AWS S3 Bucket, or an SFTP on Optimove side. We can connect to your database directly, so it can be a MongoDB as we see here, but also MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. We can also have direct connection with Snowshare, integration of Snowflake. In short, we can pretty much get to whenever your data is. Now, batch data provides credibility and reliability. It has an historical information of your data, and it also helps us to form an understanding of the customer 360. Or in other words, batch data gives us the aspect of who the customer is. Now, we then have streaming data, which completes the picture with not just who's the customer, but also what is he doing right now. This is captured via server-side events, SDK implementations, or integrations with platforms such as Segment. This data helps us to stay timely and relevant, enhancing personalization and enabling immediate responses. On top of that, we also have our self-serve capability to update Optimove instance with data that comes from various sources, whether through API or with our data ingestion feature, which I will present later. Now, throughout this presentation, we will see how the data type works together to maximize the power of Optimove's orchestration engine, ensuring your campaigns are personalized, timely, and effective. Now, let's take a closer look at batch data and start with that and understand why it's so important for our operations. So, a question we get a lot, why batch data? First, batch data provides credibility and stability. It captures historical information at set interval, creating a reliable system of record for data integrations. This makes it our trusted source of truth for historical data, and what's especially great about batch data is that it allows us to run our heavy lifting and support complex calculations such as predictions, but not only. And the way it works is that pretty much data gets in from those different data sources I've mentioned beforehand. Batch data gets into Optimove. Right now, on our side, we handle the processing, including data aggregation, predictive analytics, and other advanced calculations. Now, first, batch data gets in, and we aggregate that in a few different levels of aggregations. First of all, we have the single customer view. We aggregate those hundreds of customer attributes you're familiar with to allow you those data points on the customer level. We populate that into Optimove's comprehensive customer 360 view, which allows segmentation, but also exploration. On top of that, we also populate the activity history and product history. These are levels of aggregation that allows much more flexible treatment of your customers. It supports granular and flexible time periods, whether at the customer activity level or even at the customer and product level, to allow very dynamic segmentation. Batch data is also the key in order to powering our predictive models and segmentation. By aggregating past behavior of customers, we are able to gain clear view of customers' lifecycle stages, segmentation layers, and we also conduct the microsegments upon that. Later on, we can proceed to forecast customers' likelihood to convert, reactivate, churn, and those based on the customer's lifecycle stages. In addition to that, we can also calculate the probability of customers to become top spenders. And obviously, we have also our future value calculation, which is kind of the main predictive value that we also calculate based on batch data. In addition, batch data forms our different reports we have in the instance. So we have the reports, dashboards, for example, Funnel Explorer, Segmentation Explorer, Migration Explorer, and many other reports. All of this rely on batch data that comes in that provides insights into customers' trends and behavior over time. So we don't have just the current state of the customer. We're able to calculate historical snapshot and feed the relevant dashboards accordingly. Finally, batch data is crucial for running scheduled automated campaigns. By triggering campaigns based on customers' historical data, we are able to gain deep understanding of each customers and get tailored messages accordingly. In summary, batch data provides stability, credibility, and supports complex calculation. It powers everything from predictive modeling to personalized campaigns.
All right, so this slide demonstrates how we progressively narrow down a targeted audience, starting with the entire customer base and then adding specific criteria step by step. So imagine the audience as a large group of customers, initially represented in gray. For each criteria that we'll be adding, we'll highlight the customers that meet these conditions in orange, while the rest will remain in gray. So first of all, we want to filter all of the customers that have a high payment amount. So we'll use the average payment amount customer attribute with this condition. We're going to look at all users with their average payment amount in the last year that is greater than or equal to $1,000. Then we want to add another level of criteria here and focus only on users that are located in UK. Only customers that meet both of these conditions are now highlighted in orange. Now we want to narrow down this target group even more. We want to focus on customers that have a high risk of churn. It will be interesting to see these customers with a high payment amount that are also identified as high risk of churn users. So we can use Optimove's risk of churn predictive metric with this condition. All of the users that their risk of churn is greater than or equals to 50%. And finally, we want to focus on users whose preferred communication channel is the app. So at the end of this process, we have a highly refined target group that uses the batch data. For this target group, we can schedule a campaign that will adjust the client's past value and aim to lower the risk of churn and increase their engagement with your platform.
Now, we covered batch data. Now let's talk about streaming data. So why streaming data? Streaming data enables real-time insights by continuously capturing and processing live customers' interaction as they happen. This creates an ongoing dynamic flow of information that powers timely, relevant, and personalized experience. What makes streaming data so powerful is its ability to trigger action in the moment, ensuring your marketing campaigns and engagement are always aligned and happens right on time and reflects what the customer is doing right now. So streaming data flows into Optimove from those various different data sources and get into the system where data gets in. This enables, first of all, real-time triggering. So Real-time trigger campaigns are when campaigns are triggered instantly based on customers' activity, ensuring that your messaging hits at the right moment. Next, streaming data is also aggregated into our web and app activity feature. So it's not just track and trigger, we also aggregate those events, which enables us to create different groups and segments. For example, we can create a group of customers who visited a particular page of your website in the last 14 days, or customers who visited and explored a specific screen in your mobile app in a different time frame. So this flexibility and ability to look backwards on events that have been aggregated is the power of web and app activity. On top of that, we also support real-time attributes. Real-time attributes enriches existing and real-time only attributes, which allows a customer profile that is more dynamic and based on their live interactions. For example, if a customer purchased, made a deposit, we want that to be added on top of existing attributes that we digest on batch side of things. This enables precise segmentation and timely campaign adjustments and personalization that is up to date. Finally, streaming data is also something that plays a key role for consent management. By processing real-time events, subscription statuses can be updated instantly, helping us to stay relevant and compliant and responsive to customers' preferences. In high level, streaming data is all about staying relevant in the moment. It enables timely communication, enhanced personalization, and ensures you're always leveraging the most current customer data.
All right, so now let's look at a real-time use case, very similar to the batch example that we reviewed before. So customers interact with your platform in real time, and streaming data captures this activity. You can use the web and app activity that Chen has mentioned earlier in order to segment customers based on their real-time activity in your platform. So looking here at this example, we have here a group of customers that have visited a page. This signals an interest. Now we also want to focus on users that use the mobile platform. This will allow us to tailor the experience for this specific platform. And finally, we want to make this target group more specific and personalized. So we want to look at users that have viewed the page with the title of New Year Flash Sales. This will give us more context to the client's interest. So we now have this target group of users that have visited the New Year's page from their mobile. Streaming data can also drive triggered campaigns, which allow you to contact customers in real time, using their immediate behaviors. So this is what makes streaming data so powerful. For this target group here, you can trigger a personalized campaign that will address the customer's immediate interests. All right, so we talked about batch and real-time data separately, and now I would like to highlight the power of combining them. So let's break it down. In Optimove, we collect and store a very rich view of your historical batch data. And this provides us with a deep understanding of the customer, which includes the historical behaviors, trends, and predictive insights. So similar to the use case that we've seen before, with the batch data, we're able to calculate attributes such as the total payment amount over different timeframes, the risk of churn prediction or other predictive metrics in that matter, demographic attributes, and preference behavior. The batch data allows us to build a strong foundation, and this is by leveraging advanced aggregations, complex calculations, and predictive modeling. The batch data serves as a credible system of record. So all of you probably went through this during your Optimove onboarding. You know we run a very thorough QA on your historical batch data. And at the end of this QA, we have a handshake on the data credibility. So really, this data gives us a very stable and comprehensive view of the customer and enables us to answer questions such as, who are you, for every single customer in the database. Now, real-time data tracks a customer's activity across web, mobile, and other platforms in the moment. Real-time events make sure your data is always in motion. And this dynamic data gives us insight into immediate behaviors, such as browsing a product, abandoning a cart, visiting a page, like the example reviewed before, making a transaction, or completing a registration. With real-time data, you can enrich your customer profile with data that is collected throughout the day and set up instant triggers to campaigns that respond to what's happening now. So why combine them? When we integrate batch and real-time data, we create a very powerful synergy that gives us more insight into customers' behavior, enhances our decision-making, and enables us to create campaigns that are both rich in context and timely. So this combination ensures that every campaign that we send out is highly personalized, relevant, and impactful, leveraging the strength of both of these data sets.
Now, let's have a look at the combined use case, which emphasizes the power of leveraging both batch and real-time all together. So as we reviewed before, we had the batch data, which identified, in this example, the high-tier customers high-tier, high risk of churn users from UK with an app channel preference. Adding the real-time data detects when they viewed specific page. In this case, we had the New Year's page that have been viewed through mobile. Now, we're looking at this group of high-level, high-tier customers that are in high risk of churn. All of the sudden, they show interest in something, a specific page. You want to act upon sending them something with the right marketing message on the right time to lower the risk of churn. Now, this combination allows us to increase the customer engagement, keeping them steadily in the high-tier segment. So we want to act with the right message in the right time. For this target group, you can trigger a personalized campaign that addresses both their historical value and an immediate interest, which build on both who they are, based on the batch data that allows us to understand the customer segment, but also based on what they're doing right now. In this case, viewing a specific page within the site.
All right, now I'd like to talk about more combined use cases of batch and real-time data. So let's look at the combination of purchase history and added to wish list. A client's history of purchases is collected and calculated with the batch data. And detecting when items are added to a wish list is something that we receive from real-time events. We can use this combination for several use cases. For example, cross-selling and upselling. So by understanding the products that the client has already bought, we can use the wish list to suggest complementary products. For example, if we see that a client has bought a camera and all of a sudden adds a camera back to their wish list, we can suggest them with lens options or a bundle with accessories that they might find useful with their camera. Now, another use case for this combination would be to optimize the client's shopping experience. So if we see that clients frequently add certain products to their wish list but never purchases them, we can reach out with an offer for these specific products that they've been eyeing. Another combination of batch and real-time can be to look at high-tier customers with low engagement. So segmenting customers between the high, mid, or low-tier segments can be by looking at their order, deposit, or betting activity that we have in the batch data. And engagement data is something that we receive from real-time events, seeing when customers have clicked or opened specific marketing messages. Now, we can use this combination to highly segment and send personalized messages. So for example, if we see that clients have stopped opening marketing messages, it might mean that they're no longer finding them relevant. So we can use the batch data, which includes the client's purchase history and preference behavior, in order to send out a very personalized message. A subject line that will reflect the client's past interests can be much more effective and grab their attention more than a generic message. All right, so we talked about batch and real-time data separately, and also the benefits of combining them. And now I'd like to drill down to the different self-serve tools that we have in Optimove that enable you to independently add new data to your instance and update existing data points throughout the day. So the self-serve data ingestion tools empower our users with flexibility, frequency, and independence. Let's start off with talking about the data ingestion feature. This is a self-serve functionality to create new attributes. You can easily integrate new data into your Optimove instance and use this data to enhance segmentation and personalization. You can schedule the process to run multiple times a day, and by that have more frequent updates of your data, and also fully monitor and manage the ingestion processes that you've set up. Finally, this tool is very fit for marketeers, so no code is required. You can easily add here new data and new attributes to your instance without relying on your internal engineer teams to help you set it up. This very much sits with our positionless marketeer approach, where we empower marketeers to do more in the Optimove instance, be more independent and less reliant on other teams. Now, another self-serve tool that we have in Optimove is the self-serve API. You can use this API call to add new customer attributes to your Optimove instance and also update values for existing attributes. Any values that will be supplied in this call will just overwrite any previous values. All right, so this is the data ingestion feature. Just a few months ago, it has been released to all clients. Some of you might be heavy users of this feature, and some of you might just seeing it now for the first time. So I'm going to walk you through a quick demo of how it looks like in your Optimove instance. So first of all, as you can see, you can reach this feature from the Data Studio tab that is in the navigation bar. This is the main data ingestion screen, and you can see here all of the different data pipelines that were set up. Now, you want to ingest new data into your Optimove platform. So you just click the Ingest Data button. You can choose to ingest your data from various data sources. Let's say you choose your SFTP. You put in your credential details to connect to this data source. And then once you're fully connected, you can see all of the data that sits inside the specific source. You can now choose the data that you would like to ingest into Optimove. You can add multiple attributes per one ingestion process, as can be seen here, or just add one single attribute. For every attribute that you will be adding, you will need to provide the attribute name and also a data type, if you want it to be a text, number, and so on. You can then give this attribute further description. It will help you manage it better with the long list of attributes that you already have in your instance, and also decide if you want it to be a personalization tag or not. Finally, you can schedule the process to run multiple times a day on different time zones, or have it be a one-time ingestion. So as you can see, with just a few simple steps, we've easily added new data to your instance and also added a new attribute called VIP level. It's really that easy and simple.
Now, let's go back to the combined use case, where we talked about this target group that is built on both batch and real-time data to segment the users. Now you're looking to add another level of criteria to this target group, the VIP level that Shachar just presented right now, which is an internal segmentation of your users and isn't related to Optimove's predictive modeling. It's something directly internal on your side. You have an internal data teams that calculates the VIP model, right? And you want to make sure that these target groups that we see here also takes into account the values and the output of this customer VIP model. So rather than relying on coordination with Optimove's data teams, you can use the data ingestion feature that Shachar just presented and easily send this information into Optimove. And this is how it looks when we had our combined target group use case. So we added the VIP equals gold criteria, and we can see how it narrows down the target group even more, creating a very specific group of customers. And it's all based on both batch, real-time, and serves data points that have been digested into the instance in different ways. Now, let's have a look at the specific customer, marked in blue in this case. And through this customer that have been falling into this specific target group, we will see the entire story of Optimove's unified data foundation.
All right, so here we're looking at Jane Doe's profile. We can see how all of the batch, real-time, streaming, and ad hoc data are all aggregated together into one single unified profile. I would like to review Jane's profile to help us see what we kind of saw today in today's presentation. So starting off with the batch data. As Chen mentioned initially, in Optimove, we support various data delivery methods to send over batch data. This data serves as our system of record and provides us with a deep understanding of the customer. We see here some of the attributes that are calculated under Jane's profile, and also see how she meets all the target group criteria for the use case that we've seen before. So we can see that her average payment amount in the last year is over $1,000, making her a very valuable customer. But we also see that she is identified as a high risk of churn user. She has a risk of churn prediction of 68%, meaning that she probably didn't do any recent activity. If we were to look at her payment amount over different timeframes, we would probably see her different behaviors. For example, if we were to look at her average payment amount in the last 30 days, we would probably see her a smaller amount. So we see how the batch data enables us to identify these changes in trends and patterns in a customer's behavior. Now, based on Jane's historical activity, we were able to identify that she has a preference for the app channel. And also, she fits into our target group that focuses on users from UK. Now, real-time data is captured with server-side events, SDK implementations, and integrated with platforms. This provides dynamic event-driven data, such as a transaction that is captured during the day, or a page that has just been visited, like the example we have here. Real-time data enables you to enrich your customer profile and get more insight into customers' behavior that can change throughout the day. Again, looking at Jane's profile, with the real-time events, we were able to detect that on January 15th, on 6:44 p.m. to be exact, she had viewed the New Year flash sales page from her mobile. Also, we see here how this combination kind of highlights the power of batch and real-time data together. Because if you have the batch data alone or the real-time data alone, we won't have the full picture of Jane. But it's when we combine these two together that we understand that she's a very valuable customer that didn't make any recent activity and all of a sudden showed an interest in a specific product page. We can send her a marketing message that will be the most personalized, impactful, and relevant. Finally, we reviewed the different self-serve tools that Optimove has to offer, such as the data ingestion or the API. You can use these tools to independently add new data to your instance or update existing data points throughout the day. Again, looking at Jane's profile, we have the VIP level. So you can use one of these self-serve tools to add this data on the spot, avoiding any dependency on Optimove's data teams, and also update this data multiple times a day to increase its relevancy. So these self-serve tools enable you to extend and enrich your customer profile for deeper analysis and better targeting of your users. And now, with the new real-time targeting that will be soon coming out, both target groups and campaigns will be calculated throughout the day. So you can use real-time events or one of our self-serve tools to update your data during the day, and by that increase the relevancy of your target groups and campaigns. So to sum everything up, we talked about the different integration and ingestion methods that Optimove has to offer. We talked about the benefits of aligning use cases with the right tool and the power of combining all of them together. And finally, we talked about the flexibility that you can gain using Optimove self-serve methods. So hopefully this kind of created a good picture for you on the best practices in how to ingest and manage your data better within the Optimove platform. Thank you.